What's up?
That's what I think about that. Oh man. What a what a past couple days. Hey, Matt, did you hear that I bashed my face?
Bro, I saw it and I saw the post. Had a giggle because I've done it my damn self.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, man, you look great. So
No shiner. It was this eye right here.
yeah.
Um a little bit of a shiner, but so I took the extension off my jack so I could get it underneath the car. And I was having to do this thing where I'm jacking the car up and getting up and looking inside the engine bay to see if the mount had moved at all. And I was starting to get frustrated. So I get down, jack it up, and I let it go prematurely. And the thing came up full speed and hit me right in the eye. Now, the saving grace was that the foam cover, I had pulled it up almost to the end. Unfortunately, it had worked its way down. So the metal part hit me right, like perfectly on the orbital. Um,
But the
but
car's fine, right?
the car's fine, thank God. It's,
Yeah, I
as soon
mean
as it hit my eye, I grabbed my eye and I used my other good eye to look at the car, and I was like, "All right,
shit.
we're good."
I would have done the same thing.
I thought for sure, because when it happened, I put my hand over my eye immediately, and it
Yeah.
got super warm, like it was bleeding. I was like, "Oh no, I really messed myself up good this time."
Like, what did
And
I do?
yeah, and it didn't close immediately or anything, so I was like, "All right, I think I'm good." And everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna have a nasty shiner," but it seems to be okay. So
You know what? You tell everybody to mind their business. I take hits like the champ.
yeah, right. Um, oh yeah. Um, my wife, Dutch has got cocky with the wife. No, she would have left a mark. The Jack did not. Um, so welcome back to Talking Paranormal, folks. Thanks for
Hey
joining us tonight.
everybody.
Our last video, I just checked it, had 460 views. So apparently Skinwalker Ranch is a big topic, which I knew, but I was just surprised to see that many views. So we're getting there in subscribers. We're at 87. We're trying to get to 100. So hopefully we get there sooner rather than later. But tonight's subject was brought to us by Scott, who's a frequent watcher of the show. And it was China Lake, the military base.
And it was an absolute bust. We're moving on.
It was a bust, and
Just
we're gonna
kidding.
move on. it it was one. It's in Ridgecrest, California, first and foremost. Basically 150 or so miles north east of Los Angeles, like towards Vegas, and it was crazy because out of all the subjects I've researched, it was really hard to find information on. Now, at first, I did think, "Oh, this is going to be a huge bust." And then I started digging some more and digging some more, and I was coming across some really there's some dark stuff, and there's some interesting UFO type stuff. Um, but this base, it's interesting because I don't know how many people knew this, and I did not. But let me see if I can find the first of all, the site covers 1.1 million acres of land,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
huge.
larger than the state of Rhode Island,
Yeah,
which
I
I
mean,
thought was crazy. Um, so it's huge, and there's, I mean,
it's hard to get a
restricted
good satellite
airspace.
image of the place too.
Oh yeah, believe that is
You know,
intentional.
you know who got a good view of it though?
Yeah. Oh,
China.
China got a great view of China Lake. Now, am I crazy to think that that thing should have been shot down before it even got into our airspace?
I'm not going to disagree with you. Like when they said, "Well, we wanted to make sure to shoot it down over water." Are you meaning to tell me this thing made it so far into our airspace that it was over land before you even noticed it?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't believe that for 1 second that they didn't see this thing coming. Um, there's just no way. There's no
Like
way.
you expect me to have confidence that we're going to shoot another nuke, like a nuke with another nuke out of the sky?
Yeah,
Like you expect me to believe we're going to be able to pull this off? Yet a fucking weather balloon just
yeah,
cruises through like
yeah,
nothing to see here.
yeah.
Like get the fuck out.
I have such a hard time with the whole thing. Um, they talked about because I had heard about it being over Montana, And I
Yeah.
was thinking, if there ever was a state to shoot the thing down over, probably Montana. You know what
You
I
know
mean?
what? They're just getting that high aerial shot for the next season of Yellowstone. So
Something, man. Oh God.
high altitude footage is the next big thing.
I'm like, wow. So, and it was over a nuclear site.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, did you hear there's military helicopters cruising around? I think it was your neck of the woods,
Really?
Seattle.
I did not hear about that.
Like I was going to blow you up on the Instagram because I was sending you some shit on a truck. Let's see here. Jimi Hendrix Park, Seattle. Steve Wargo. Breaking news. This was 4 hours ago. Military helicopter circling over Seattle. They think it's Black Hawk circling.
Really?
It's so overcast, but they think it's another balloon might be coming down.
Oh shit. Let's be honest here. If China is infiltrating our airspace, that is an act of war,
Yep.
and we should respond accordingly. Period. If Papa Trump was in office, I don't think we would be having this type of an issue. I
Dude, if
think
Papa Trump was in office, we wouldn't have heard about a balloon at all because it's been taken care of.
We took care of it. It's not an issue.
It was a huge, huge balloon, but we got it.
Non-issue. Moving on.
My fellow Americans, we got it.
It was a balloon from China.
But man, here's the thing. The China got me,
sir, we don't have proof of that.
It was from China.
I promise you, that's what it was.
bro. Did you look at the meme I sent you? The meme. Here's how I know millennials are fucking done with everybody being like, it's the end of the world. Any situation can be turned into a meme. Prove me wrong. Did you see it? Did you see the one I sent you?
No.
Look at it's in our chat with Blake.
Oh. When did you send it?
I sent it a while ago.
Oh. Oh man.
Like that's how I know millennials are just done.
I don't know. You can't read it. It says
Oh.
weather balloon. Totery, not for spine.
Totally.
Oh,
Like, and
that's
you know what that
funny.
makes me think of is the Chinese guy from South Park. Goddamn Mongolians!
Oh gosh. I like when they did the Chinese guys imitating Americans, and they're like, "I think I'll use my credit card." That was a good episode. No, it really pissed me off to find out that these guys can just fly. Like, I know that we've had some situations where unidentified flying objects have been in our airspace, and the military has reacted. You know.
Yeah. Hey, hold on one second. Hey, Dutch. I'm definitely a millennial. I'm cool. It's all right. World's ending. I mean, we did what we could. We had a great run, but it's game over, man.
This is World War III, if you ask me. China.
Good news,
Okay.
everybody. McDonald's made sure I'm undraftable.
You know, it's one thing to fly over, you know, Bourbon Street
Yeah.
in New Orleans. Okay. It's another to fly over a military installation.
Yeah.
A missile silo, a nuclear site, an air base. I want to know the elevation of that thing. How high was it? What was its altitude? Do we know?
I don't know.
Because I mean, from the pictures I saw when it got shot down, it didn't look that high to me.
No, it did not look very high. Oh shit! Let me turn up the brightness on the old Mackie book. Get in here. There's an incognito window. I love it. All right. Where are the Australians? I'm concerned.
Yeah. Maybe they've got Chinese balloons flying over Australia. I can't believe that China pulled that off. I thought Biden and China were friends. Maybe that's why they didn't get shot down initially. I don't know.
Let's see here. What was the altitude of the China balloon? 60,000 feet.
Oh, that ain't shit.
No, it was not very high. Other reports said 66,000 feet. So I'm going to say anywhere from 70 to 60,000 feet.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't
Chinese balloon
don't
tracker.
get it. There's a balloon tracker already?
Well, I mean, it got shot down. So, I mean, F-22 took it down.
Okay.
Off of the South Carolina coast.
And they're going to recover it.
See, meteorologists. It wasn't even the Pentagon tracking it. It was meteorologists tracking it and giving people updates.
Ridiculous. So ridiculous. Wow. Yeah.
Which means it was showing up on the Doppler, but somehow it made it past all of our military stuff. If anything, this just shows we're wide fucking open.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you think about it. I'm sure our buddy over, our buddy Putin is probably sitting over there going, "Oh,
he's like, that's all we gotta do to get in is send a balloon.
We will send 1,000 military balloons."
He's going for it.
Like he's just over there like cornering the market on helium so he can just start filling up.
Scott says that stoners are higher than the altitude of that balloon. You're correct. Wow, yeah, that's speaking of China, I cannot believe.
Oh, thank God, Lance. I thought China got you.
Yeah. Now where's Aaron? But anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. We're talking about China Lake today, which is a military base outside of Los Angeles by about 150 miles northeast towards Las Vegas. Like I said, 1.1 million square miles of land. It also, one thing that really blew my mind is that they have basically in their land, they have the most petroglyphs in the Western Hemisphere.
Really?
So it just so happens that there's a bunch of thousands of years old petroglyphs. As a matter of fact, the Koso Rock Art District, which is within China Lake, basically, has over 100,000 petroglyphs.
Oh shit.
So there's some interesting, like, to me, I'm going, what's going on in the Mojave Desert? Okay. The most petroglyphs in the Western Hemisphere at one site. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're talking about a naval weapons testing site. The Naval Air Weapons Station is what it's called, NAS, China Lake. And when I was doing the research, they basically said, it's a testing site and research facility for the military for weapons.
Yeah.
But one thing that one of these articles, and I couldn't find it, I was looking for it again, they just glossed over the fact that weather modification was also one of the things they're researching, which,
okay.
You ask any government official about weather modification devices, and they probably go, those don't exist. We don't have anything like that.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah. So it's some sketchy stuff going on there. There was a lot of there's a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding China Lake. I don't know how much weight I'm willing to put in on them, but there's rumors that children are being held captive and that the China Lake military base is also a research site for MK Ultra and mind control. and that it's actually part of a DUM, a deep underground military base. And for those of you, I don't know how much we've talked about it, but DUMs, if you look into the conspiracy theory on deep underground military bases, they're all allegedly interconnected. So I do have some TikTok videos lined up that demonstrate how crazy it is. I couldn't find any that were like really on point. Like I said, when you look up China Lake, first of all, you get a lake in China, but
Yeah.
the limited information you get on the China Lake military base is all pretty official. But when I started looking into the really, really deep conspiracy stuff about the children and things like that, I immediately, yes, Dutch, it is very reminiscent of Autech. I when I was getting into this children angle of this thing, because those of you that know me pretty well know that I think there's some really dark stuff happening on this planet that has to do with children, and I think that we're gonna have to dig into more of the military's involvement. But with MK Ultra, there was a project called Project Monarch, and it's really dark stuff. We're not going to get into it too much today, but when I was doing this research on the children aspect, because of course, if I see that, I want to see what I can find on it, and I couldn't find anything that was what I would consider legitimate, with the exception of I did find this interesting article. Now, keep in mind, this is a military base, okay, and this is a legitimate article that I found from military.com. And the headline is multiple instances of alleged child abuse at Navy Child Care Center. Okay.
Okay.
So there was some child abuse. There was a video, and it took a long time. I'm basically paraphrasing all of it, but there were some accusations at this child care center of abuse. It took a long time for all the video footage to get put together, and when they initially they denied it, but then they had evidence. So one of the all right, let me read this. Okay, on November 4th, more than a week after the reopening of the case, because apparently it was shut at first, the parent who described harm to her child received a call from the center's leadership telling her that they wanted to meet in person.
Okay.
At that meeting, she was told that after officials reviewed camera footage from the center, they found that there was mishandling of your child.
What does mishandling mean?
That's when I saw that, I got triggered. Okay. So she goes, let's see here. Oh, and she was worried, and she and her husband pressed for more details because that child care center was closed, right?
Right.
And they said that they weren't at liberty to discuss why it was closed. She did allude that the abuse was not sexual in nature, but she didn't give any information as regards to what kind of abuse it was. However, when the parents finally saw the footage on Wednesday, and this is when this happened, they were startled to learn that their son's mishandling actually happened 6 weeks before. And then she says, when you use the words mishandling, it's like a carton of eggs. I dropped the box and mishandled it. We're talking about children here. You know what I mean? So that, and it's legit. There was some child abuse there. Now, not sexual in nature. The fact of the matter is, you would think that your child would be safe on a military base. You
would think, man. I mean,
people are evil, dude. People are evil.
Yeah.
And I've talked to you guys about that crazy admiral who was involved in mind control experiments and shit. And Michael Aquino with the weird eyebrows and shit. He looks super evil. Yeah, that guy.
I mean, that dude looked like a straight Bond villain.
Those are the types of people that you'll find in these military places. But it's interesting. So you got some of that. You've got all these petroglyphs. And I found out that they do tours of the petroglyphs. So they take you on site, but like you have to meet the military at this certain location in Ridgecrest. Then they take you in. and or is it Ridgecrest, California? I think it's Ridgecrest. It's the city next to China Lake, but they take you in, they make you shut your cameras off, no photography going into the base, and I guess it's like a city in there.
Oh yeah, most bases are like
Yeah,
just its own little self-contained city.
and being as big as it is, that doesn't surprise me at all. And most of the people in the nearby town actually work for the naval base.
Yeah.
So the conspiracy theorist in me was like, oh, well, if everybody's in on it, you know what I mean? Like, when you get into subjects like this, and what really got me super suspicious is the lack of information when I wanted to find out. When you're talking about conspiracies, name a conspiracy and you're going to find a treasure trove of information. Whether it's bullshit or not is a different story, but
Yeah.
the
Well,
China Lake stuff was nearly
hold on.
non-existent.
Hold on a second. You said it's so we decided it was the size of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's possible there's multiple cities for different compartments of stuff going on out there.
Oh, sure. The military is so compartmentalized. I'm not saying that everybody in the nearby town or everybody in on the base knows exactly what's going on.
Oh, they don't. They know what's going on with their part of it.
Yeah. The fact is that it is a weapons research facility. So this place is the place that comes up with all the shit that kills people. So
Working on the Death Star out there.
yeah, that's cool. But it just, man, it blows my mind. And then there was this story that I found about earthquakes in that part of California.
Yeah.
And the actual center, what do they call the center of the earthquake? It escapes my mind. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Epicenter.
The epicenter of these earthquakes just happened to be in China Lake. Coincidence? I think not.
They're drilling for the core, man.
Man, I mean, 6.4, followed by a much larger 7.1 the next day.
Oh.
And they've allowed limited access to geologists. And of course, they're going in with escorts, military escorts, when they go in there to do research. Bunch of aftershocks. And there's 5,000 people that live on this base. So it's not too far-fetched to think that maybe there's some things going on that may not be above board. I mean, if they're testing weapons.
Also, there's officially 5,000 people on base.
Yeah, officially. They're testing. The thing is they're testing weapons there, and they have a 7.1 earthquake, a 6.4, and then a 7.1. Those are big shakers. You know what I mean?
What do you think? Do you think they're testing like tactical nukes?
Well, the thing is we would see mushroom clouds. If they were big enough.
I mean,
maybe. I think there's some shit going on underground. So I think there may be something to this underground shit.
I mean, they buried a lot of nukes and tested them.
If you look at...
And then got real worried about desert tortoises.
Yeah. There's actually, on the base, there is a Millennium Falcon shaped body of water that's clearly man-made, and it's got a boat ramp. And you would think, okay, it's a naval weapons testing site. Of course, they're going to have a body of water so they can test some shit out. Here's the thing. Let me see if I can pull this thing up. Here's the thing. It's surrounded by, it's got a couple vehicles there. There's some tanks, just placed in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
This man-made body of water is very small compared to those things. So I'm thinking to myself, that's like a pond, but it looks deep as shit. It's crazy. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of this thing. China Lake. Some people were suspecting that it was a portal. Let me see if I can find this picture. Here we go. Oh, they're actually pulling up Google Maps Oh boy. Oh boy.
Don't trust it.
Might get a knock on the door for this one. Let me pull this up. This is crazy, dude. Pull this over here. And I wasn't kidding. This thing looks like the Millennium Falcon.
Let's see.
To be honest, when I first saw it, I was like, that's kind of creepy, dude. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. Look at this thing.
How the fuck does that look like the Millennium Falcon?
It's kind of shaped like it. But look at it. Look at this boat right here. Okay, boat right here. There's the boat ramp. Look at this thing. Portal Al what? What? Museum of Space History. Open 24 hours. What the fuck? Let's do a little investigation here and see what the fuck. 30 photos. Huh?
I feel like somebody just tagged something weird with it.
Yeah, I'm confused. Yeah, something's not right here. Making a glory hole at the aquarium because one of the fish is asking for it. What the fuck? How can they do that?
I don't know, but I dig it.
What is happening? Oh god, you never know what you're gonna find.
Hey, don't let that distract you from the fact that there's a matching fucking divot on the other side. Keep going.
What does that look like? What does that look like to you?
Stargate.
It looks like a body of water.
It looks like a Stargate to me.
Keep
going.
It does look super. It looks suspicious as fuck. Hold on.
No, other way. Right there.
Oh. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you guys focus on the obvious thing. You gotta look at the weird shit that's not getting talked about.
Yeah. But I mean, here you've got a boat, right? And you go, okay, well, what size is the boat? Well, there's a car right there. So this body of water that looks mysteriously deep, is just
no. The green on the guys. The green on the edge is just the soil. It's just the soil under that water. It's just the really dark water.
There's the town of Ridgecrest. It's super suspect. I mean, clearly it's man-made. What the hell? Mars, Apollo, Venus.
The mountains.
Yeah, that's just interesting to me. Like, maybe they're just in plain sight. They're going, yeah, this is where we filmed that shit that you guys thought we went to the moon.
If you scroll out there real quick again, so you see that, see the red dot where your pin is?
Yeah.
The mountain range to the upper right.
Here?
Yeah, that's where they're filming the Mars rover.
Yeah. Oh god.
Okay, so anyway, let's get back into this little glory hole in the side of the Earth real fast.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself.
I mean, that's actually
in the middle of fucking nowhere.
But you say that's significantly large, considering that's like a freaking part of a mountain right over here at the top of that. You know what I mean? Or it's not really part of a mountain. What the fuck? But still, I mean, that's a pretty good size, considering the size of the mountains and everything, and you can see it from that far up like that.
This is actually Noah's Ark right here, folks. In case you were wondering.
Yeah.
We found it. Just super weird shit. I mean, they got a lot of land, got a lot of roads out here.
Nothing around it.
It's just interesting.
But yeah, so the fact that there was the fact they started to dig another hole just directly across from it. Because I mean, that's what they're doing right there. They're either digging or.
Here's a tank right here. There's a tank right there. A tank there. A tank there. A tank there.
In all honesty, it looks like the way that there's nothing around it. I mean,
maybe testing. Maybe they're just trying to blow shit up from the sky.
Dutch, how did I know that and you didn't? There's a
Air
plane.
Force Squatch.
I really think, man, it really looks like they're testing the like it looks like it's a rounds testing area. You know, like they're out there shooting some shit. 'Cause there's a down
Maybe.
plane right there. There's part of a plane.
It's just interesting.
Because I mean, when they're
Like I
testing
wish I knew
ammunition,
like what was really going on.
like when they're testing ammunition, they even like they get down to the science of it. You know what I mean? Like they shoot, they hit different stuff with it, and they analyze how it affects that substance.
Yeah. Just an interesting place. Boeing,
Well,
China
well,
Lake.
well, well, well. So that's where Boeing's testing their future aircraft.
Yeah. They got a golf course. They got an elementary school.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, that's
They got
pretty dope.
everything you would need.
Okay, yeah. See, but zoom in on these ponds right here. I'm pointing at the screen, like you can see what I'm pointing at. So stop. Go to the upper left.
These?
The green, up more. That right, these right here. Stop. They're in the center of the screen now. Stop. So those are ponds.
Okay.
And
These
that's what I was
guys?
talking about. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Was like the weird green is just that sandy soil under the water. But this also kind of like if you can we get any closer? Okay, so scroll over towards the buildings that were off to the side of one of those ponds. This will help give us an idea of scale. So let's see here. Yeah, those are some buildings right there.
There's some trucks.
So there's some trucks and buildings. So this gives us a little bit of an idea of how big and how deep we're talking here. Because right here, this first one, that's probably a little bit more of a shallow pond. Because I mean, you can see the green all the way through. But if you go over to the very next pond, we're looking at some more depth because it gets super dark super fast. There's very little on the edges. So my question is, what the fuck? Why the fuck is that water so dark?
Why is it so deep?
Yeah.
But then it just goes back to let's look at this fucking thing again.
Then here, after we look at this again, I want to go look at those circles.
This has to be pretty deep then, because you can almost see how deep it goes. You know what I mean? It's like
with the drop off. So it's so what they're probably testing there is.
I wish we had more clarity.
Bro, if we had any more clarity, we wouldn't, I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back
Other way.
down. Where the hell am I?
So the circle's to the left. No, go back up. Those guys.
These are right by 395. Right by 395.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm curious if these are water. They look like water.
Look at that one right there. What the fuck? Huh?
They're not water. That's grass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. It's totally grass.
Yeah, that's
totally
because like if you go back to the very, you can kind of see it in that. Yeah, it's a giant water that just circles and keeps it watered. So that's what that is.
Okay.
So you see that line. You see that line in it. That's where the water is actually sitting at that point. But yeah, it just goes in. Like if you look at satellite shots of Kansas,
it looks like that.
Oh yeah, the whole thing looks like that.
Just because I'm curious, how close can we actually
Dutch,
Yeah,
we're actually
so
rebuilding the map for GTA 6 right now.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this place. Super sketchy.
Well, I mean, I agree with Lance here that some of that is probably sewage treatment.
Yeah, probably.
So, I mean, it would stand to reason that they'd have their own sewer treatment facility and water source. Well, well, well.
Some fighter jets. Yeah, I don't know. So
On the surface, it looks pretty normal.
it looks like a normal military base.
Yeah. Yeah, on the surface, it looks pretty up and up.
Now, I'm going to play 3 videos, and they're controversial. They're talking about underground military bases, and they weren't too clear. It's almost like they clipped part of a show or something, but we're going to watch them, and let's just talk about them. So I'm going to go through. Wow, these are kind of long, so I may cut them short if they're going nowhere, but it'll give you an idea of the network of underground military bases, allegedly, that exist under the United States.
Video going way up north through Coos Bay and Oregon and up and through Washington and all the way up. So all of that's being worked on heavily, as we'll see in this decode. And then this map is the mid-level domes, the more ancient domes. And they figured out, based on their intel, how much flooding all the domes in the world would take. And it would drop the ocean level so vast that it could cause another ice age, because if you drop it too far, you get down into the big currents that circulate through the ocean. Like in the Atlantic, you have the Gulf Stream, and then you have the Horatio current and all of those different currents. And if you upset those currents and the ocean flows, you can literally upset the entire ecosystem of the world. And so they decided they had to use hand-to-hand combat on land, as well as certain advanced techniques that they've just recently come upon. Like they took out the dome in Twin Falls, in which they blew a hole in a lava tube that is part of the supervolcano of Yosemite. And in doing so, they flooded that facility down to the deep domes. Now, these ones are the ones that go extremely deep and are very, very ancient. Back when the Satanics first came here, it goes into a hole that Admiral Byrd went into that is in the Arctic, and all of the bases up in Siberia, the deep, extremely deep satanic bases of the satanic beings and the demons. So what you're seeing here is the demonic stuff, the really deep, really evil stuff. That's why it says at the bottom, Wiccacraft. That's, black magic, Satanism, satanic magic, and all of that, casting incantations and spells. And all of this is very dark and deep and evil. And so the battle down there is very horrendous, but the connections underneath the ocean are gone. Those have been blown and flooded. So they don't have the maglev trays going from continent to continent anymore.
This is the last stronghold of the Satanic Illuminati, ancient evil Nephilim bloodlines of Cain. Evidence of this battle can be seen with the fires coming out of sewers, storm holes, drains, and manholes covers in California.
In Alaska, there was and cleaned out the Brooks Range and 2 bases, which were the Delta Junction and Fort Greely, which are in the same area. In Arizona, there's Fort Hiawatha, or West rather, and intelligence. This was used for intelligence training, mind control, genetics, and a detention camp for renegade civilian amps and rounding up people when they do their end times. Luke Air Force Base, that's now under White Hat control. Gates Pass Base, that's now under White Hat control. Gila Mountain area, that's now under White Hat control. And then there's the Grand Wash Cliffs, that's still under the dark side. It's the western edge of the cliffs at the head of Grapevine Wash. It must be reached via Highway 93 and unpaved roads. There's Green Valley. Then under White Hat control is Hulapa. or Hualapai Mountains east of the mountain range, 35 miles southeast of Kingman. That's out on the way out to Las Vegas from Flagstaff, Arizona. Then you have Rincon Mountain, north side of Rincon Mountain, and I'll just from now on, if it's under White Hat control, I'll say afterwards. Mount Lemmon, Page goes all the way under Hoover Dam and the reservoir. Safford, Santa Catalina Mountains, the Sedona, Arizona detainment camp located under the Enchantment Reservoir Resort in Boynton Canyon. And then under White Hat control, the Wickiup complex, and that one was just found in the process of cleaning up some other things, and they took it out when they found it. Then there's the Yucca Mountains. You can actually see this as you drive on I-40. If you're driving towards California, it's on your right, and it's easily you'll see four massive large power cables penetrating into the side of the mountain for that Yucca Mountain. There's a picture of the facility where you go in right there.
Look at that.
Then we have in Arkansas a White Hat now controlled facility in the vicinity of Hardy and Cherokee Village. This is taken under White Hat control during Hurricane Dorian. And then we have the Pine Bluff, 34 degrees, 13.4 north, 92 degrees, 1 minute west. And that's still under the Dark Hat site. In California, that was the article we saw at the beginning where that's where they started the takeover of all of the massive interconnected California system. 29 Palms Marine Base is now under White Hat control. It was identified in military airspace area as our area R2501, which means it's a no-fly zone. And that was southeast of Ludlow, California. China Lake, that was completely neutralized and taken out through the Ridgecrest tunnels. They collapsed them as they came in. Then they did a series of 3 tactical nukes. The first blast was at 6.4. Second one was at 7.1. And another one followed that at 6.1. And for those that understand earthquakes, your initial shock is the highest. Aftershocks aren't lower. So that's not natural. It's really obvious that was intentional. And then you can see the link there about this, which completely made the China Lake base that was on the surface have to be completely rebuilt due to that large facility. And people freak out when I tell them this, but that was a Mark Ultra base, what they call a spark gap grid, where they have a large nuclear blast that followed that out to come in and lay hundreds of layers of steel flooring with cages in them that they put children in. When special forces, a large group of special forces came in, they rescued 35,927 children from this facility. It was one of the primary Mark Ultra development facilities on Earth. Uh-huh. So thank God for our military, like Trump says and Q says, because that's a lot of children that would have been that were going through horrendous situation. It's just they're in these cages and lights and bells go off and they get electrocuted all the time and mistreated badly to turn them into Mark Ultra slave bots. Then in Darwin, 4 miles west of Darwin City, there's a dam. Then we have Deep Springs that's now under White Hat control at 37 degrees, 22 minutes north, 117 degrees, 59.3 minutes west. That's then we have Fort Irwin, 35 degrees, 20 minutes north, 116 degrees, 8 minutes west. That was a detainment camp for renegade civilian ops after Hillary got in. They rounded up all of humanity into these detainment camps. That's what, every time you see that, that's what that means. Then under White Hat control, Edwards Air Force Base in the area where Diamond Creek and the South Fork of the Yuba meet. Then still under Black Hat control, George Air Force Base. Under White Hat control is Helendale. That was the Lockheed underground facility. That was technology and secret projects development base. Los Angeles is under White Hat control on Highway 14 towards Edwards Air Force Base after Palm Day. This was for technology, the Illuminati secret project.
All right, that's it. The 35,000 children that they're talking about, if you just Google 35,000 children rescued, you're going to find multiple instances of claims from all over the world. There's claims that Putin rescued 35,000 children from Ukraine. I've seen that one. I've seen the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. I heard that there was tunnels under there. They saved 35,000 children. I keep hearing this number, 35,000 children rescued. So every time I hear it, I don't know if there's any truth to it or if it's all bullshit. But it seems like
they like to throw out that very specific number. And, man,
Here's the thing. Let's just say that from one of these locations, 35,000 children were rescued. What's the best way to prevent anybody from digging any deeper? You flood that shit with misinformation.
Oh, yeah.
You flood it. Now, 35,000 people of any kind, you're filling a good-sized stadium. That's a lot of kids.
Yeah. All
in cages. It sounds so fantastical and unbelievable. And it was a military operation. I hope they saved 35,000 kids. Then again, I hope that that's not true and there was no 35,000 kids in cages. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm more of that line of thinking. Sorry, guys, replacing the tank on my heater.
That shit is so dark. Well, when you talk about MK Ultra, there's a document, dude. I saw this interview with this lady who was claiming she was trafficked and in the Project Monarch and suffered MK mind control. And she said some crazy stuff. And when I was doing research on her claims, I ran across this document that talked about the program Project Monarch and how they create these slaves, these mental slaves.
Yeah.
It was dark. It's like 300 pages long. And it talks about some dark shit. And I think China Lake was mentioned in it. I should find that document and see where it was mentioned, because I know it was talking about military bases, and that's kind of when China Lake was brought up. After thinking about it, I was like, where have I've heard that name somewhere before, but I think that it was brought up in that document, and then I don't know the validity of the document, but it's pretty dark shit. It talks about how you break somebody down, a child, you break them down when they're young, and then you can control them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So, let's skim over these next two. It was interesting when he was talking about the earthquakes, and how it probably was a nuclear test. Deep underground, maybe they blew it up in a giant hole like the one we were looking at, deep underwater. Maybe they were working on some new underground missiles or something. I don't know. They're just, one thing that I believe is that there is a network of tunnels. I just don't know to what extent. The map he was showing these things all over the world. And he's talking about it would drain the oceans to flood them out. Like, that is a little crazy.
Like 5 seconds later, though, he says, well, those are gone. They flooded them.
Yeah. So this guy seems to be one of those crazy conspiracy guys, which I myself am a crazy conspiracy guy, so I can't really point the finger too much.
Yeah, but come on, we all know there's those crazy conspiracy guys.
Yeah. Here we're just combing through the bullshit to see if we can find shreds of evidence of factual truth. So let's see what else he's got.
That's a female regional center for the West Coast. What is being done here is mostly kept secret, but this base is listed as a communications antenna field, but it's obviously being used for much more. Then we have the Sierra Nevada Mountain Complex, which is a very deep military base. The Thomasville base, which is at 30 degrees, 50.2 north, 80.
All right.
Can't do it, man.
I can't do it. He's not giving me what I want to hear. Here's a couple interesting videos, though. They're less than 30 seconds long. I want you to use your best debunker tools that we both have now, Matt. And I want you to debunk these one at a time.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Here's number one.
'tis a fly. First of all, if they're gonna be testing some shit
Let's
out and
do it.
about,
Let's do it on a clear day.
let's do it on a clear day when someone's clearly trespassing and our top-notch security has fucking failed us.
I'm sure there's technology. Like, let's think about this for a second. You're on this base and you see some crazy shit and you want to record it. I'm sure that every single one of those phones is monitored for
Bro,
shit like that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, right fucking now, every single one of those phones is in their locker, and if they get caught with a phone on them while they're doing their duties, they are out.
That's
And
what's
I'm not talking about fired. I'm talking out in the middle of the desert digging their own grave out.
That was the weird thing about the Bob Lazar shit. When he got booted out and he knew nobody would believe him unless he could prove it. And he said, look, at Wednesday night at this time, they test these things in the middle of the night. So he took his friends out there and they were going out there repeatedly. And then finally they got caught.
Yeah. No.
I don't think they would test anything during the day, but here's another video that was interesting. I don't think this one was a fly.
Massive swarm of metallic objects filmed near China Lake, California. Is it military technology or something else?
Are they? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I kind of felt like Steve, like, yeah, dude. It was
So,
almost Steve-O there.
I mean, that's probably them testing drone configurations.
That's it's funny you say that, because how are we supposed to know with today's technology what's a drone and ours and what's an actual UFO? I don't think we can. I think unless it's
Bro,
doing some crazy fucking maneuvers at crazy speeds that our normal aircraft
have you
cannot fly.
have you seen what they do with these drone shows? Like these drone light shows?
I've seen the drone light shows. Those could easily. They started doing that at the Super Bowl. How long ago was that?
Lady Gaga.
Was it Lady Gaga when she did the demonic satanic ritual?
When she jumped off the roof.
Yeah, when she was symbolizing Lucifer falling from heaven.
Is that what that was?
Conspiracy theorists think that every year there's satanic symbolism within the Super Bowl show.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, last year's Super Bowl halftime show was just legit.
I thought it was pretty good myself.
Bro, I was like, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a great example, Matt. Drone shows could fool a lot of people. Then you
Bro,
take it,
and you say they put this in front of us. Like, what was the plot point of the most recent Spider-Man movie?
I never watched it.
Bro.
I don't think I've watched it. Is that not
No,
far
not the most
from?
recent. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Far From Home. What was the plot point for Far From Home?
I don't remember. I've seen it. I don't remember.
Drones.
Was it drones?
It was drones putting on light shows, faking everybody out. It's all about holograms and smoke and mirrors and shit.
Yeah, and Project Bluebeam. They talk about faking an alien invasion. They've said that the holographic technology is so good that they could probably fake the second coming of Christ.
Bro, they brought Tupac back, had him up on stage and everything.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
It's funny because now, like back when the Phoenix Lights happened, they're like, oh, flares. It would have been easy if they had drones back then. They could have said, oh, we got drones. That wasn't 50 years ago. And usually they say that our technology is 50 years ahead. I was actually pulling my route on Friday. Last day as a garbage man. Pretty proud of that.
Oh, there you go, buddy.
And I was doing this little neighborhood and I look in this driveway and there is, how can I describe this? It was like it was a platform. It was a drone. It was a quadricopter. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But it had like some equipment on it, and the equipment looked super heavy. And the blades on this thing, on each one, were like They were huge, like the sets of like the quad part. You know what I'm saying?
Have you not seen the gun drones?
No, but these weren't military. These were like I don't know
Bro,
what these guys were doing. I don't know if they were
you don't have
serving.
to
It
be
was in a
military.
driveway.
Hold on.
I didn't realize that civilians or just like companies had drones that big. The thing was huge. I was like, how can that thing even lift off the ground? And then I'm looking at the 4 sets of blades, and I was like, holy shit, those are huge. I don't know how much the piece of equipment weighed or what it even did, but it's like surveying equipment or something.
Probably was surveying equipment.
Yeah, I've never seen one before, and I was like, wow, they can get that thing in the air? That was pretty crazy. So I don't know. I think
Check since you can share with sound and I can't. I'm sending you a link. This was built by some fucking kids.
okay, let me check this out. Oh my god. Hold on.
Video that caught federal investigators' attention. Police say 18-year-old Austin Howard of Clinton, Connecticut, is the mastermind behind this homemade gun-mounted drone. The video posted to YouTube gained more than 1.7 million views. One person writing, quote, strange and a scary thought for someone to be using a drone to carry a firing gun. Police say Howard opened fire on his private, and that.
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
You heard the video.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear that YouTube video? Interesting. That's crazy.
Everybody got a yes.
That's not illegal if done safely. Police have no evidence anyone's life was in danger. The FAA is now investigating whether he violated the agency's rules.
There are countless ways the drones can be useful. Using one as a remote-controlled weapon is not one of them.
This comes after a man crashed a drone on the White House lawn earlier this year.
Fuck around. You know what I mean? Good God. Oh, man. We are living in interesting times, folks.
No joke. Yeah. I thought, man, see. Also, I know this stuff because I look into it because I'm focused on drones right now with my ADD. But yeah, man, like there's flamethrowers mounted on drones. Machine gun, like ARs mounted on the big quadcopters and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, so people saw the kid put the pistol on
Bro,
one. They're
I
like, "Oh,
guarantee
watch this."
I guarantee you that kid didn't have the original idea. He just saw somebody else did it.
Man.
But still, a 9mm. Apparently, it's a really bad problem in Connecticut. Hold on, let's see. It's a. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's a scary thought that they could just. I mean,
there's not really a video, but I mean, it's clearly a drone with a flamethrower in the picture.
Oh, that is indeed a drone with a flamethrower. Oh man. Wow, hold on, let me show everybody this. That's super Super sketch.
I think this was the same kid even.
Oh yeah. Oh, so the pistol was a 22.
Okay.
At least he thought it through.
Bro, that was no 22. That was not a 22.
Well, it definitely wasn't a 40 or a 45. So
No, it was a
maybe
9mm.
You think so?
I mean, it knocked it enough, yeah. But I'm telling you right now,
It's light though. It's light, and the pops in the forest. A 22 sounds. It cracks like that.
bro, get the fuck down here, and we're gonna do some shit. And you tell me that was a 22.
I've shot my. I have a 22. I have a Smith & Wesson 15-22, and it sounded just like that. Quiet enough where you didn't quite need ear protection.
I mean, 22s are fun to shoot because you don't need to wear ear protection. But
I just think about my 9 because I have a Springfield Armory XDM 9mm.
Dude, I'm a Springfield guy. I got a Saint and a 45.
Dude, my wife and I are Springfield people.
Oh my god!
She's got an XDS 45, dude.
So we are Springfield people, motherfucker. We are meant to be best friends.
That is funny. Yeah, my 9mm with that light ass drone, it would probably kick it a little bit harder than that. I don't know. It seemed pretty stable, dude.
I mean, you gotta realize though, some of these drones are built like remember, think of the drones at Mo Party, man. Like that thing was keeping up with drag cars.
That's true.
Like that thing's hauling. You mean to tell me that if he had some forward momentum going and fired that pistol, that it would not be able to hold its own a little bit?
That's true.
I mean, we got drones. See, here you go. We got drones here. Walmart has drone delivery here.
They already?
Yeah. Like
I thought that was like a thing for 20 years in the future.
No, it literally, they have like, okay, when you guys come down to visit, I will take you and show you the drone towers. Like the stores are starting to install drone towers to where these things, they load up like your small package of like, if you order like some small stuff.
Don't ever call my package small again.
And whatever. But anyway, if you have like a small package, they'll load it up on this drone. It'll fly over your house and drop it with a parachute and then return to the store.
So you get to keep a parachute from Walmart?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's fucking rad. Does Amazon do that yet, or did Walmart beat Amazon?
I think Amazon joked about it. Walmart's like, hold my beer.
Holy shit. That's awesome. The only thing I've seen from Amazon that was sketchy was a little robot driving. I was driving my garbage truck, and I pull up to the sidewalk, and there's this little fucking robot driving right in front of me. I was like, are you shitting me? Yeah, it's crazy.
Dutch, I like your choice in firearms there. See, I want a Schofield so bad. I can't stand it. But they're so damn expensive. But yeah, man, I got my Saint and I got my Savage's long guns.
I need a long gun. I wanted to I was contemplating taking up hunting. I know it's a bitch. But
hey man, I'm telling you, you guys move here, we'll do all kinds of shit.
I like the idea of getting my own food and not having, grocery store bought. I like natural shit.
We got a wonderful whitetail population. We even have elk in Arkansas.
Cool.
And bears.
I had a couple friends that I used to work with that sold their house, packed up, moved their whole family. And they went around the country looking because they had money, because they made a lot of money on a house deal. So they went around the country looking, and believe it or not, they landed in Arkansas. And
bro,
they said, we love it here.
It's a great state, man. Yeah. Like we are the true bipartisan state.
I remember when we were driving through Arkansas, we heading back to your house. I remember seeing, I forget if it was like rainbow flags or something. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting to see that in Arkansas. And you looked at me like I was retarded. And I was like, well, I just wasn't. I've got a bad, um,
Arkansas has a bad rap for being a little backwards. But I mean, man, you gotta realize though, like I truly believe we are the perfect bipartisan state due to the fact of we primarily vote Republican for the big office,
mhm.
but then for the smaller offices to keep the big office in check, we vote a lot of blue.
Yeah.
And it just we are a true purple state.
It
I
seems
mean,
to me like there's like I expected it to be red as hell, but I'm starting to look at it like, oh, maybe these are like true old school libertarians. You know what I mean? Like, you
That's-
do what the fuck you do, and we'll stay in Arkansas and do what we do. Don't bother us.
that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah.
You're damn right. We got some of the best Holsteins in this country. We got some damn good Brangus herds too.
I can't wait to get you and Dutch together just to see what kind of crazy shit, you, crazy knowledge you guys have, just to pull out of your brains.
Fun fact for the group: I used to run a cattle operation here in Arkansas for a gentleman. It was beef cattle. I did do a year or two living on a dairy farm. We used Holsteins and Jersey with a couple of brown Swiss thrown into the mix. Jerseys have a more creamy milk, so you mix that in with your Holsteins, and you get a pretty good, very good, rich milk. Fun,
Which ones do you get chocolate milk from?
the brown cows, Chris, obviously.
Hey, now.
You'd be amazed at how many people think that's true.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's a real statistic that somebody found out. Like 10% of adults think chocolate milk comes from brown cows. 10%, Chris,
Of adults.
of adults.
Now, let's keep in mind that those same 10 people also have the rights to vote. Okay? So keep that in mind. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Anyway, let's get back to
I don't know.
let's
I feel like we're on a good tangent right here.
we're an hour in, and
Yeah, I mean, this is all extra stuff now.
I feel like let's conclude on China Lake here. Do you think there's anything suspicious going on at China Lake?
Man, I think there's something going on, but it's all underground, and like honestly, we will never know.
I think that a lot of these testing facilities, your Area 51s, your your S4s, your AUTEX, your China Lakes, I think there's a lot of shit that we don't know about that goes on there, and for good reason.
But I will also say this: I think they purposely have ones that are well known to draw us away from the ones they don't want us knowing about.
Oh, for sure. They're probably like, oh, those ones are deep underground. They probably love the fact that we call them DUMBs, deep underground military bases. They're like, fuck yeah, they are.
Super deep.
I really want to know what they got in the ocean. Damn it, I want to know what they have offshore.
I don't know, man. I mean, but yeah, so I really feel like I really feel like there's probably nothing really out of the ordinary going on at China Lake. But they will keep making sure that there's just enough coming out about China Lake that we stay super interested in China Lake. Just like Area 51.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weapons development place, so of course they're coming up with gnarly shit to kill people with.
Yeah, I mean, of course there's stuff going on, but they're being honest about what's going on there. They're like, yeah, we're making weapons. They're not saying what kind of weapons, but they're just saying they're making weapons. So I mean, like I said though, I really feel like it's meant to be a what's I'm looking for here? I just really feel like they're a draw you off kind of thing instead of an actual thing.
It makes you wonder if some of these rumors are just put out there so that you focus on that and not on the base 20 miles away from.
Bro, I guarantee you, they're sitting there like there's somebody sitting there watching them. Yeah, they're watching China Lake again. Yeah. They think they're saying something. Yeah, it's just It's just the birds we strapped mirrors to.
Do you think the guards on Monday will be like, "Hey, did you catch Talking Paranormal?" Like, yeah, I caught those fucking morons. He goes, "Hey, did you know that chocolate milk doesn't actually come from brown cows?" The guy's like, "Fuck, really?"
Like, yeah, that bad guy. He drops some knowledge every episode.
Now, let me ask you this: do you think there are deep underground military bases with nefarious shit going on?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the thing. You don't get to be the biggest bully on the schoolyard without having some really bad shit that you're up to. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's not like you get to play world police and not be doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a reason. Other foreign powers. And it's not just our military that makes other foreign powers be like, man, fuck those guys. I'm gonna piss them off. Like, we send videos like, this is what we did to this guy that pissed us off.
Yeah.
Do you want to be on that team, or do you want to be on the team that gets the free boombox?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like you see these beheading videos and shit, and it's like, oh god, that's so brutal.
And oh god, that was the CIA.
And then there's a flash to the United States dropping the bomb on Hiroshima. It's like, hey, and on the surface, that.
And on that day, the fuck around and find out was invented.
I mean, talk about your all-time fucking it on the surface. Of course, it's a bomb, so you're like, holy shit, right? It's what happened after, and you're seeing these kids with. I mean, it's super tragic. You know what I mean?
It was a war crime. 1,000% it was a war crime.
Good God.
But who's going to tell the United States at that time? Be like, hey, man, I think you went a little too far.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nobody. Japan
Lance,
signed the shit and said, "Oh, sorry."
Lance, you're 1,000% correct. We are not that guy anymore. We are brunchers with our mimosas and our feelings. And no, we're not that guy anymore.
No, you know what we are? No, I disagree, Lance. Except for I think we are the biggest bully, and unfortunately, we have the littlest dick right now. See, a couple years ago, we had the biggest dick, so it was no big thing. You're the biggest bully with the biggest dick, so you got nothing to hide. Now we're the biggest bully with the smallest dick, and we're kind of just,
No, we're the kid that's sitting in the back of the class, doesn't really know where he is, but he knows that glue tastes good.
Yeah, old Joey's got something going on, but nobody's diagnosed him, officially.
That's a fact, Jack.
I'm sorry, but
I just really wish I could, like, A, that I had the desire to, and B, figure out how to do it. But watch what other news channels in other countries say about us when shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, Joe don't really control nothing. Joe doesn't even control his bowel movements. And we're on Joe number 5 anyway. So I mean, I stopped trying to keep track.
To be honest, I'm surprised he lasted this long. Especially towards the end there when they're bringing him out of the basement.
This long. We're on Joe number 5.
God, yeah, that's true. I mean,
dude, his earlobes even changed. Don't
really?
Yes.
Do we need to have an episode about?
Yes. Next episode, we are analyzing Joe Biden through the years. Get ready, everybody.
Okay, so we're gonna preface that on because the queen of the use of body doubles, the conspiracy of body doubles. That's what. Yeah, we're gonna do that because you can get crazy. You got the Queen of Elizabeth. She had a body double. It's said that Avril Lavigne isn't even the real Avril Lavigne.
That is my favorite rumor, and you can't tell me that it's not a body double because Avril Lavigne, when she first came out, was anti being a preppy girl and having plastic surgery and everything. And this new Avril Lavigne has a boob job and wears pretty pink clothes and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, you can't tell me that's the same girl.
Yeah.
It's like, what did Chad Kroger do to you?
Oh man. Yeah, that'll be a fun episode. Let's pull up some body double evidence and shit and
Oh yeah.
doppelgangers, clones. We'll talk about that shit. We'll preface it on something conspiratorial like clones, cloning, and body double conspiracies or some shit.
Oh man, we got it made because we got all the celebrities we can analyze
Yeah,
that have doppelgangers from like 200 years ago. We
Yeah.
got all kinds of stuff. So no, I'm in. I'm all in.
that'll be fun. I would love to find my doppelganger.
I've met mine. I went to school with him.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
We did bring up the celebrities and how Nicolas Cage is a vampire.
Bro, but see, I'm down for it because Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula in his next
Dude,
movie.
how are we talking about him being a vampire and then he's playing fucking Dracula in the next movie? It's
I
like
don't
he's
know.
like, here I am, haha. Like,
Bro, I'm telling you right now, it's
that's gonna be a
like,
fun episode. I'm looking
but
forward to this.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited right now. Like China Lake, I couldn't really find anything that like I could sink my teeth into. Mainly
It
because
was
I feel
tough.
like I said, mainly because I feel like stuff like this where they try to be so obvious it's an actual misdirect.
Or I was kind of the opposite. I was looking into it like, how come I can't find like even the real conspiratorial shit kind of skimmed the surface.
Yeah.
And it's like most conspiracy stuff, you just type it into Google and it's showing you everything you want to fucking know.
Yeah.
And some shit that you got to wade through the bullshit. I couldn't even find, I mean, other than 35,000 children allegedly saved from cages in China Lake, which, man, that was a rabbit hole I wasn't really willing to go down just because I know there's some dark shit happening to children on this earth, and I don't like focusing on shit that's so outlandish because there's so much we can do. Like Operation Underground Rescue. You know?
Bro, as parents, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch stuff like that. Because it makes you more scared of the world that you're already scared of for your kids.
Oh yeah. I went to get my haircut today and I had my daughter sitting in the place and I was so worried that somebody was gonna come snatch her up. I was like, wait, and every time I heard the door go, I was like looking over, like it's a fucking nasty world out there, dude.
It absolutely is. Dutch guys, I'm gonna disagree. Do you know why? Because clearly you have not watched a cinematic masterpiece called Dracula, Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen.
Man. Yeah. All right, Scott. Let's plan for next week to be about all that fun stuff with now you got me thinking about Joe Biden and if it's really him. But it's like they just go to the nursing home and pick a couple guys out, like, all right,
no, I think they're using real body doubles, but man, I'll show you in the after show. Like,
okay.
Like even his fucking earlobes changed.
Fucking A. All right, folks. That's it for this week's Talking Paranormal. China Lake, is there some shit going on there? We don't know. Probably. Probably.
I mean, for sure something, but not to the extent we're talking.
1,000% maybe some shit's going on. I'm sure they got some crazy weapons they're developing. Where the fuck were they when China was flying a balloon over the United States? So, yeah. All right, guys. That's it for us this week.
Everybody, have a good night. Thank you for tuning in.
We'll see you next week. 1,000% maybe. No